America. I'm Tom Hand, the creator of Americana Corner, and welcome to Preserving America. Today, we're spotlighting one of our Americana Corner grant recipients, Seminary Ridge Historic Preservation Foundation in beautiful Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And with us is Peter Miele, his president and executive director. Peter, welcome to Americana Corner.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great being here, Tom.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Please tell us about the mission of the Seminary Ridge Foundation.
Sure. So our mission is to preserve the historic structures here on Seminary Ridge in Gettysburg and provide education and interpretation of the historic buildings, legacies, architectures to the general public.
Tell us about the history of your beautiful building. I've been there. It's gorgeous, but it has a history that preceded the Civil War as well, correct?
Certainly, yeah. So you can sort of see it in the background here. It's our museum, Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, is housed in the original building of the Lutheran Seminary here at Gettysburg. It was built in 1832, and one of the reasons that it ends up here in Gettysburg is because we are the center of 10 roads. So the same reason that the battle ends up here in 1863 is one of the prime reasons that the seminary ends up here. And it was their hope that by moving out of the center of town where they originally had been, that they would sort of be out of the hustle and bustle of town. It would be quieter up here, better place to concentrate on studies. And, you know, for the first 30 years that the building is here, it's relatively quiet. But then, of course, on July 1st, 1863, the building becomes the center of the first day of the battle, and a spot where you have generals like Buford and Reynolds meeting as they're planning what to do after during the initial Confederate attacks west of town.
Did the seminary house Union soldiers while the Confederates occupied that spot? Is that right?
That's true, yes. So at about 10 o'clock in the morning on July 1st, our building is turned into a hospital. And so all that day, as the Army of the Potomac is defending Seminary Ridge, it's filling up with wounded Union soldiers. And at 4:30 in the afternoon, the Confederates break through the line, capture Seminary Ridge, and indeed most of the town of Gettysburg. So for 3 days, while the Confederates hold the town and the ridge, there are Union soldiers that are in the building, some of them not receiving food or water or medical care. The Confederates come in looking for medical supplies and take them for their needs.
Everything you see in movies is these grisly, terrible Army hospitals. Was the medical care really that rudimentary back in those days?
Well, how much time do we have?
Okay.
No, my area of interest really is medicine and public health. So you couldn't find a better place to lead. But doctors were learning about the human body early on in the Civil War. It was bad. You think about how large the United States Army was in 1860, about 16,000 men. You know, here at Gettysburg, one army is 90,000 men. So early in the Civil War, surgeons and the Surgeon General, the medical department, has to figure out how to care for casualties on an almost unimaginable scale. Surgeons are being tested for their abilities, and using the carnage of the battle to build knowledge about America, and really in the process, as one historian put, create American medicine. That's not to say that everything was really great, because it's going to still be about 20 years before the knowledge of germ theory.
Okay.
So it's still, not learning to wash hands or wash tools. That is true.
Let's shift gears just a little bit.
Sure.
Talk to us about the Voices of Duty and Devotion exhibit that that Americana Corner helped to fund.
So, Voices of Duty and Devotion is our permanent exhibit. It's what you see when you come in, everything on the walls and on our exhibit panels. But we also have at any given time, anywhere between about 100 and 200 artifacts. So my goal is to find storytelling pieces that are as specific as possible. Have a provenance that ties back to an individual. And it really is that voices of duty and devotion, if we can tie an object back to a person. And one of the examples that I'll give you, we worked with some private collectors who have artifacts that belonged to a lieutenant in the 121st Pennsylvania named W.W. Dorr. He was a son of a Philadelphia reverend. Here you have these objects that were worn by an individual person who fought within 100 yards of where you're standing. So that's what I like to do. I like to show, that we know that there's somebody who was fighting here, was fighting for his country, and that this is what he was wearing.
Yeah, that's fascinating stuff. Yeah, you really have to tie what happened in the past to today to make it relevant and why it matters. And and the human interest element has to be told, doesn't it? I mean, these aren't just events, but they're human events, and people are part of that whole story. So that's fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you out there for listening. And until next time, may your love of country lead you.